I ain't gonna cap. That was some weird shit, my boy. 20 objects that scientists fear. Frozen civilizations under the ice. Huh. I'm trying to sit here for an hour. Oh, here's one. Oh, shit. That shit about to go on forever. Let's try this one. Big ass eyeball. This shit gonna make me cringe.
We have eyes that see for good reason, and videos like these are a very good reason to keep them peeled. It's eyes wide open when it comes to what you're about to see. You're going to be asking, am I living in the future? Or are we living in the past? Sometimes both. From robots to real-life invisibility, fake clouds falling to a fleshy Lego minifigure, just try to unsee this. 15 Things Humans Were Never Meant to See, Part 2. Number 15. Egg Inception. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? I think it was the chicken. No, the egg. Okay, no, the chicken. No, the egg. It's enough to make your head spin, right? We've all been through the logic. Most of us end up in the same place. Now try to wrap your head around this. An egg hatched with another egg inside of it. Like these clips, when raising chickens for eggs, expect the unexpected. Though quite rare, it's well known that occasionally a hen will lay an egg inside of an egg. The cause of this egg inception is called a counter-parasolstice contraction, big words, and occurs while the hen is in the process of forming an egg. In less scientific terms, basically it's when an egg has already passed through the hen's oviduct and gets sucked back up before it can finish developing, and another egg to develop around it. The clip goes pretty much how you'd expect. A mysteriously large egg is opened to find, surprise, another, smaller egg inside.
That's like
when they crack open the second egg, there's just a...
That's like when motherfuckers put a gift in a box and then put the box in another box and vice versa. Like, what the fuck?
Yolk, although it's slightly paler than most yolks, but it's still a bit of a mind bender, isn't it? It's kind of like a dream inside a dream, like the movie Inception. As for the chicken versus the egg and which came first, science says the egg. Now, let's get ready for today's open discussion. Our first thought when looking at an image like this is sometimes it's good to see the big picture, but then again, maybe not. Do you think this lonely rowboater has any idea of what's swimming underneath him looking up at his boat as it passes? A huge underwater dinosaur called the Mosasaurus was fictionally resurrected on the big screen, most notably in the 2015 movie blockbuster Jurassic World, eating a great white shark and eventually saving the day. No spoilers, one of the biggest specimens ever found was estimated to be about 56 feet long in life. Could it be so that they're still lurking in our deep ocean in secret? It's terrifying to imagine, right? Just as much as this huge eye looking out into the world from beneath the waves. Use hashtag open discussion if you agree in the comments below. You want to know a little secret? If you smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell, you'll have superpowers for the rest of your life. So what are you waiting for? Time to fly. Number 14. Extreme isolation. Would you want to be dropped off by a helicopter here, on top of the Fisher Towers? As you can see in the video, that's exactly what's happening. People are choosing to be delivered to the tops of these towering mud formations. You can imagine, the Fisher Towers is one of the most extreme places in the desert to climb, but also one of the most spectacular. The towers are huge soaring fins of mud up to 1,000 feet high, and watching people walk on top of them is unnerving for anyone considering the risk. But for some, totally worth it. The Fishers have a lot of history. The towers are composed of 3 major fins of rock that run from the northeast closer to the mesa out to the southwest and into a desert valley. The fins are between 1,000 and 2,000 feet long and separated from each other by about 1,000 feet. Each fin contains multiple towers, a number of which have been named. The southernmost fin is best known for containing the greatest elevation and prominence, a structure named Titan Tower. Even the name suggests a certain amount of danger. But if these brave folks are to be believed, some people love this sort of extreme isolation. But it does make for one hell of a picnic and some incredible selfies.
Hell no.
Number 13. Terrifying flesh Lego Man. Have you ever imagined what a Lego minifigure would look like in real life? You'll not be able to unsee this. The special effects heavy transformation is the project of film producer and artist Frank Ippolito. For 2016's Comic-Con, Frank designed, sculpted, and painted a Lego-inspired mask made to look like a real-life version of a minifigure, and it's found its way home wandering through Comic-Con. Don't you think it lives at the intersection of creepy and amazing? Lego has a fascinating history. Its founder created the name Lego by taking the first two letters of the Danish words meaning play well. And many millions of people have since its creation. And if you put the 340 million minifigures produced usually per year next to each other in a line, it would stretch a whopping 4,908 miles. That's almost the distance from London, UK to Beijing, China. Laid end to end, the number of Lego bricks sold in a year would reach more than 5 times around the world. As for the minifigures, they're the world's largest population with over 4 billion of them around the world. This real version is a little out there. Even the eyebrows are bizarre looking. And if its Lego smile and blank eyes aren't enough, don't worry, there's always the creepy little claw hands with giant nails. Number 12. Chameleon Car. Changing a car's paint job can be an expensive and elaborate painting process. But what if you could do it at the touch of a button? Recently, BMW showed off their new electric vehicle that does just that. With color-changing paint, it works by sending an electric field to activate the white or black pigments at the push of a button, kind of like you'd find on a Kindle reader. Makes sense, right? This impressive car is called the iX Flow, and the electric SUV prototype uses technology to change its exterior color just like that. So, how does it do it? The vehicle has a special wrap that brings different color pigments to the surface via electrical stimulation. The color-changing effect can go from front to back, side to side, and stripes and blotches and so on, all at your fingertips. Right now, the car changes between white and black on the body of the car and even the rims. But hey, this is only the beginning. Color will be next. While it looks like a ride from the future, what's the purpose? BMW says it could be used to change colors during hot summer months. The benefit? Increased efficiency. On hot, sunny days, white cars will stay cooler than black ones because they reflect more sunlight. Similarly, on cold days, dark exterior colors help the car absorb more sunlight, so you get it. Number 11. Hyper-realistic robots. The history of robots has its origins in the ancient world, and in the early 20th century, the notion of a humanoid machine was developed.
I gotta clean my ears. Like important.
The first uses of modern robots were in factories. Digitally programmed industrial robots with artificial intelligence have been built since the 2000s. Now look how far we've come. We have hyper-realistic versions today. A UK-based company unveiled a remarkably human-like android with a promotional video of it waking up. As you can see, the robot is doing some very real stuff like waking up and physically responding to touch. A mecha, that's the robot's name, is a new humanoid robot that shows more human-like, natural-looking expressions. The mecha has gray-colored skin with gender and race-neutral characteristics, but is being described as the world's most advanced human-shaped robot representing the forefront of human robotics technology. And for us, they look surprisingly real. Don't you think? In the video, a mecha can be seen expressing what looks like surprise as it opens its eyes and looks around and examines itself. When it notices the camera person, it then smiles and offers out its hand. Very cool. Number 10. Clams on the run. The word clam can be a very vague term. It generally refers to a type of animal called a bivalve mollusk, like this, able to burrow into sand or other sorts of sediment. But have you
Look like
ever
he's licking the
wondered
ground
just
and
how
running.
these creatures get around? Most clams have two different kinds of muscles. The most basic one that they have helps them open and shut their shells via their valve muscles. These muscles are very strong and can allow some clams to survive for short periods of time outside of the water. The other muscle that clams have is a muscular foot. That's the tongue-like muscle that emerges from its shell. The foot is controlled by two muscles, the anterior and posterior foot muscles, which work together. Clams have the most control of their movement using their foot. This foot allows for a certain amount of lateral movement. However, this foot is most useful for allowing the clam to burrow into the sand, which allows it to submerge itself safely out of harm's way. Aside from digging into the sand, most clams then move by using water currents, which allows them to move from one region to the other. Bet you never imagined the clam had a foot, now did you? But as you can see, it gets the clam around just fine. Number 9. Clouds falling. Chicken Little is a folk tale about a chicken who believes that the world is coming to an end. The phrase "the sky is falling" features prominently in the story and is a common idiom indicating a hysterical or mistaken belief that disaster is imminent. Is that what's happening here in this bizarre video? Is the sky literally falling? The video, showing a strange white substance settling across the coastal region in Morocco, quickly went viral, amassing a countless number of views easily. Check out this person wandering through the formations, which up close looks similar to candy floss. He grabs a handful of the stuff, which clings to his arm like in a bubble bath, but on land. Whether true or not, the white blob looks like a cloud, shaped like cotton but soft like foam. The cloud-like object hovers until finally falling to the ground. The weird phenomenon was also filmed in Saudi Arabia as well. Conspiracy theorists and skywatchers were left debating the cause of bizarre foam clouds. So far, explanations have included everything from alien intervention to government weather experiments and naturally occurring sea foam. Meteorologists, however, suggested the material is just a hoax. The sky is likely not falling. Number 8. Water on fire. Thanks to rising global temperatures, that permafrost in the earth is thawing, and it's carving a hole through the bottom of many bodies of water around the world. And as you can see, various amounts of methane leak out. Some folks are even lighting it on fire. Have you ever seen water on fire? We don't recommend trying this. However, it's quite a strange effect. Methane is a highly flammable gas, and millions of the world's lakes are producing a lot of it. The methane is produced in two ways. It's either bacteria, as they feed on organic matter, such as leaves and dead animals, which have fallen into the lake, or the flammable bubbles come alive in the melting permafrost. In the summer months, bubbles of methane float to the surface and pop, releasing the explosive gas into the air. However, if the lake freezes over in winter, the methane bubbles become trapped under the surface, creating spectacular patterns in the ice. These lakes are being closely monitored by scientists because methane is a greenhouse gas 25 times more potent than carbon dioxide. The amount of methane released by one lake won't have much effect, but the combined emissions from the millions of methane lakes across the world are more damaging. Not cool. We don't want to set the world on fire now, do we?
Nah, you don't want to.
Number 7. Balloon laminar flow. Want to have some fun with water balloons? It's not what you're thinking. This do-it-yourself science project is very cool, and it helps us see what laminar flow is. You'll need a balloon, some electrical tape, some water, and a pen. One example of laminar flow is syrup, or honey, flowing out the nozzle. Because the liquid is so thick or viscous, the flow is very laminar. Scientifically speaking, the videos show a type of flow pattern of a fluid in which all the particles are flowing in parallel lines. In this experiment, laminar flow is measured by the ratio between velocity, the speed of the flow, and viscosity, how thick or thin the fluid is.
Fake almost.
The more viscous or thick the fluid is, the faster it can flow without going turbulent. And did you know a different example of laminar flow occurs every day inside of you? Blood flowing throughout our bodies does the same thing. It has a wide range of real-life applications. For example, a type of laminar flow is achieved every day by pilots. A smooth flight occurs when the flow of the air over an aircraft's wings is laminar. If the pilot runs into a very turbulent patch of air, the wing cannot correct the air to make it laminar, causing turbulence. There you go. Science.
Science is a
Number 6. Bees in the dark. Almost 90% of wild plants and 75% of leading global crops depend on animal pollination. In fact, 1 out of every 3 mouthfuls of our food depends on pollinators. That's why we have to love our bees. This is probably gonna blow your mind. It certainly blew ours. Watch these bees suddenly drop to the floor for no apparent reason except that the lights were turned off. Researchers do not know if this is a freak occurrence or if this happens in other places as well. But as can be seen in this video, dozens of bees bite the dust once it's lights out. This unusual video footage was captured by a biotechnology and biological science PhD student and it's been watched more than 1 million times. Instead of the bees gliding gracefully to land, they literally just stopped flying. After all, isn't that more dangerous than to keep flying? Some people speculate that bees may have become afraid of bats that hunt at night. Another person asked if this was why bees can be seen.
Do not pay somebody to build you a Shopify store, because I'm going to do it free with 20 handpicked products by
looking lethargic in the shade or large buildings on the ground. Another observer said if bees don't fly at night and suddenly the light disappears, isn't this just their normal behavior? Bees are solar creatures and they use the sun to navigate. It's possible that suddenly being without light causes them to chill, just really quickly. Number 5. Touching molten steel. Maybe these fellas are bored at work, but what this brave man is about to do seems next level crazy. Watch as this gentleman is touching red hot molten metal at 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit multiple times and nothing seems to happen to his hand. In the footage, he moves up to a stream of liquid metal, removes his safety glove, and proceeds to shove his hand into the red-hot liquid. After he walks away, completely uninjured, it's called the Leidenfrost effect, and it's a physical phenomenon in which a liquid close to a surface that's significantly hotter than liquid's boiling point produces an insulating vapor layer. Because of this repulsive force, a molten metal hovers over the surface of the skin, rather than making physical contact with it. Another example, when a liquid is dropped onto a hot plate, the bottom layer of liquid instantly evaporates. This leaves a protective layer of gas between the red-hot plate and the rest of the water droplet, preventing contact between the two and slowing heat transfer. The same effect protects the man in this video. For an extremely short amount of time, the moisture on his skin boils instantly, forming a protective layer on his skin. If he did so for even a fraction of a second longer, however, it's likely he would have lost that hand. Number 4. Real-life invisibility. True invisibility is a superpower we all wish we've had at some point. But this next video demonstrates how it's achievable in other ways using a Luber lens. This is a type of Fresnel lens. How does it work? It takes the light coming into it from the back and obtuse angles and projects it forward in the front of the lens. That's why you see the players and the pen seemingly disappear. This redirecting of light waves causes what's on the other side of the lens to appear as though it's directly behind the lens, effectively making what's actually behind the lens visually go bye-bye. A Fresnel lens was created by a French physicist, Augustin Jean Fresnel, for use in lighthouses. It's been called the invention that saved 1 million ships. It can capture more oblique light from a light source and add it to the beam of a lighthouse, making the light visible from greater distances. Today, a Fresnel lens can be made much thinner than a comparable conventional lens, in some cases taking the form of a flat sheet, like in the video. It's a great example of how simple innovation can create grand effects like invisibility in a really old school way. Number 3. Magnetic liquid. Want to see living liquid? It looks like computer-generated imagery, and it's amazing. Ferrofluids are known as colloidal fluids and are composed of nanoscale ferromagnetic particles suspended in a carrier fluid, usually water or kerosene. It becomes highly magnetized in the presence of a magnetic field. And this is where we get even more next-level science vibes. The distinctive spiky shapes like this are caused by the need to find the most stable shape to minimize the total energy of the system. The peaks can be produced using a small bar magnet. Plus, you can get it in different designs. Sync it to music, and other programmable features are available, including lasers and special lighting effects. It looks like the perfect visual accessory for any DJ or media junkie who's living in the future. On the other hand, magnetic liquids are also the focus of current scientific research and have the potential to be used in many medical applications. That's always a good thing. Medications could be enclosed by ferrofluid, and once injected into the specific body area requiring treatment, a magnetic field could be applied to keep the drugs in this target area. The localization would limit exposure to the rest of the body, control the dosage, and reducing negative side effects experienced by the patient. Number 2. When lightning strikes water. We've all at one time been advised to never go swimming on a full stomach and during a rainstorm, right? Do you know the probability of getting hit by lightning on the lake and what the consequences might be if it did? We're about to let you know. But just look how explosive the water can be when lightning does touch down in the water. Turns out, chances are good for a few reasons. When lightning strikes, it often, but not always, hits the tallest thing in the vicinity. If your head is above water level, it's potentially the highest point around, and therefore a nice target for lightning. Electricity and bodies of water just don't mix. Lightning often strikes water, and water conducts electricity. That means that the currents from a lightning strike can seriously injure you. In fact, it can even kill you. Even if it doesn't hit you directly, a lightning strike on nearby land can spread throughout the surrounding ground. Therefore, even standing next to water during a thunderstorm can be dangerous. This is why when you hear thunder or see lightning, it's a good idea to avoid the pool, beach, and any other large body of water. While being in the water might be bad, being next to it could be worse. Your best bet is to get inside a building as quickly as possible. Number 1. The inside of a camera. A camera obscura is an optical device that makes a projection from the light entering a darkened space through a small hole. Before photography, the camera obscura was used to more perfectly illustrate images, as one could trace what appeared projected on the wall. And these DIY masters are using their own properties to create one at home. It's based on a 15th century design by Leonardo da Vinci, which uses a pinhole opening to let in sunlight and project an image of the surrounding area. And it's been here since the 1860s. As the name suggests, it does mean dark room in Latin. The surroundings of the projected image have to be relatively dark for the image to be clear. The human eye works a lot like the camera obscura. Both have an opening, pupil, a biconvex lens for refracting light, and a surface where the image is formed, retina. Early camera obscura devices were large and often installed inside entire rooms or tents. Later, portable versions made from wooden boxes often had a lens instead of a pinhole, allowing users to adjust the focus. It's definitely a fun experiment you can easily do in your own home. Couldn't turn away, could you? That's why we do it. Where else could you get the best of this stuff that we're not supposed to see? Make sure you like and subscribe since you're here.
That's fucking crazy, bro. That's some crazy shit. I ain't even gonna cap to you. Alright. I gotta edit these and then post them and then probably do some more shit like this. I just like watching weird shit like that. Like, you learn some shit. I think my favorite was watching the bees fall in the dark. That shit was funny. That's fucking comical. But alright, guys, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.